but welcome everyone. It's tips of selling online, just going through some of the basics of starting to sell, especially on online and on online marketplaces as well. So what we'll go through is really about your product title. So how to write that so people can find your products, how to use like keywords and tags to show up in search results. So this is when you go to Google and you're typing in things and this is what comes up first. And then just a bit about photography and particularly how to just take good photos on your phone to make it nice and simple. And then, like Ola said, we'll go through a Q&A as well. So a bit about me. I'm Joanne Griffin. My business is the Creative Flow Collective. I call myself a retail mentor. The businesses I work with generally call me like their product best friend. I've worked for over 17 years in retail. I spent 7.5 years at notonthehighstreet.com, which is basically like the UK Etsy. So I've helped thousands of product businesses and I've sold products myself. So I understand what you're going through when you're trying to think of ideas or starting to sell and going through that journey of starting that business. So my business offers one-to-one retail mentoring or retail help through workshops like this. And my main focus is on your products and the product development, pricing so that you actually make money, so to get your profit, and planning ahead as well. So thanks for joining me. If you want to connect on Instagram, I'm at Creative Flow Collective, but obviously it'll be up on YouTube afterwards, but grab a pen and paper to make some notes as well. So first off, we'll go through product titles so that really help people to find your products. So the key with your product title is the first 3 to 5 words are the most important. So these are the main words, or I'll say keywords as well, that you should really focus on. So these first 3 to 5 words have those main words about what your product is all about. So like I just said as well, these are kind of the words that people would put into Google or a search bar on something like Etsy to find your products. So instead of just putting in, say, a dress, they might be looking for something more specific. And, the clearer you can be, the better. So an example here, so say it's this silver necklace here. Instead of just putting silver necklace, people might search that, but you're more likely to show up if you've got these sort of longer product titles or like longer keywords. So sterling silver, lotus flower necklace. So sterling silver is talking much more about what the material is. If someone wants, instead of just silver plate, they want a sterling silver. Maybe they're just looking for flower necklace. They might just search silver flower necklace, but then yours would come up, your product would come up. Or maybe if they want something more specific, like a specific type of flower necklace as well. So adding those key words in that really describe what your product is right at the start is just more useful information and you're more likely to be found. So for keyword ideas for your products, like I've said, you can use what the product actually is. So a necklace, a dress, a notebook. You can use the key materials that make your product. So sterling silver, 9-carat gold, recycled leather, Hessian, that kind of thing. You can put in the colors as well. So like a little example here, turquoise, for example, gold, silver. If it's a pattern as well, like geometric pattern, tropical print, if it's on a dress, for example, that kind of thing. You can include the processes to make the product as well. So you could say it's a handmade sterling silver lotus flower necklace as well. So again, you differentiate yourself if your product is handmade. Or maybe if you personalize your product as well, say you add a name or initial on it, you could add the word personalization as well. And particularly on places like Etsy, you can have very long product titles too. So adding in who will buy or receive the product. So uh, gift for friends, gift for sisters, Mother's Day gift, that kind of thing can all work really well because a lot of people online will be looking for to buy a product for either themselves or as a gift as well. So thinking about who buys your product and why also really helps for the product title and the product description as well. So a few top tips. So this is just an example from Etsy of these glass spoons. So use capitals for each word in the product title. So as you can see here and also here, it's a capital H, a capital G, a capital L, a capital B, and a capital S for a handmade glass lollipop beaded spoon. So instead of not just, capitalizing each word helps again, it makes it stand out more if you're showing up on Google or in the search as well. And you can also, like I said, have very long product titles on Etsy. So again, keeping this example here, you've got exactly what it is in the first 3 to 5 words, but then you've got here it's a beaded spoon, but they've also said it's a teaspoon, it's a coffee spoon, an ice cream spoon, a dessert spoon, or a glassware stirrer. So again, it's if people are searching for glass teaspoon, or maybe they want a nice dessert spoon, or again, maybe if they're making drinks, for example, and they're looking for a nice stirrer, it's just all of these key terms. So it's describing how it's made, the material, what it is, and then how people will buy it as well, or what they'll use it for. So the key is to make sure all the words you add are really relevant. So, you don't want to be putting here something that isn't relevant or not applicable. So making sure all the words you add do apply to your product. And also don't use the same title for similar products. So say you've got lots of notebooks, for example, you don't just want to call all your notebooks the same product title. You want to differentiate them by, say, the size, the pattern, the quote on it, the material, just so otherwise Etsy wouldn't like that particularly on places like marketplaces like Etsy. They don't like it when all the titles are too similar. So following on from the product title as well, the best tip I can give you for helping to show up either in the search on Etsy or the search in Google is whatever you make your product title, make that the first line of your product description as well. Basically just reinforces SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, which basically just means what you type into Google. So yeah, so just making sure that product title is that first line of the product description. And an example of this, again, so here we've got the sterling silver lotus flower necklace, all capitalized in the title. But in the product description, again, we don't want to sound like a robot and we're just repeating that. We want to sound like a person selling it. So this sterling silver lotus flower necklace is a great gift for Mother's Day. So again, it reinforces what the product is, what it's made of, but how you would gift it as well. And again, then here you just don't add the capitals in. So it just reinforces that. And that's kind of very simply SEO, how to get found on Google. That's one of the best things that you can do to get found on Google. Yeah. If you've got any questions, I'm going too fast or not understanding anything, because I know sometimes I can use abbreviations in retail and people don't know because I've just been doing it for too long, let me know. But we can go on now to keywords and tags. So this is how you show up in those search results. So keywords to use. So the main keywords or that you should add are just from your product title. On Etsy, you can literally add up to 13 keywords. Oh, no, sorry. On Etsy, it's 13 tags, they call them. And then on your own, in your own website, if you're selling on your own website, for example, you can add in keywords again in the product description and elsewhere on your website as well. So the main thing to do is again with SEO, search, selling online, getting found, we just want to keep repeating everything we say. So we repeat the product title in the first line of the product description. Then that product title then gets repeated in the tags, particularly on Etsy as well. So that you've got 13 tags and then you can re-add them in. The key thing with these tags or keywords is to not just use single words. So, like I said before, we don't just want to put necklace, dress, notebook. We want to put silver lotus flower necklace, gold flower necklace. More long tail keywords, as they're called, just means you're more specific. So when people are looking for like typing in what they are wanting, then you're more likely to be found. So the way I would suggest you approach it as well to reinforce this SEO and to be found is think, if I was looking for my product, like my notebook, what would I search into Google to find that? So these are some examples from a client I've worked with. This is her badge on Etsy. And these are some of the keywords that we used from the 13 tags that we can put onto Etsy. So as you can see, it's a star brooch. It's for a birthday. It's glittery, and she embroiders this herself as well. So very simply, star brooch. It's mainly for special birthdays. So maybe it's a 50th birthday, or if you know it gets sold more for 40ths or 30ths, 21st birthday. Also special birthday badge, special birthday brooch. So again, different ways that you can describe the same product, a badge or a brooch. A birthday brooch, birthday girl badge, birthday boy badge. Again, just saying who would buy this product. Embroidered badge, embroidered brooch, because that's how she makes the product. But then people could also describe it as a pin as well. So embroidered pin. So it's the same thing, but it's just thinking about all the different words that customers would put in to the search bar to find that product in different ways, the different words that you can use as well. So again, like I was sort of saying before, just reinforcing SEO and to be found, the product title, the first line of the product description, and then the tags are all the same. But the first keyword you add is the most important in Etsy. So again, with this one, maybe it's like special birthday badge. So, just really think about what most people are going to be searching to find that product and add that as your first tag in Etsy. But one tip with Etsy as well is, again, if you have those similar products, don't have very similar product titles or similar tags. It's what Etsy calls like clumping, when it like clumps all products together, and they don't want to show, if you go onto Etsy, it's a marketplace, they want to show a wide variety of sellers. So if you've got all the same tags on all of your products, then it will look like you're trying to like take over that page basically. So they don't like that. So vary your tags if you do have similar products. If you do have, say, lots of notebooks that are similar, or pieces of jewelry that are similar as well. And again, with putting the same information in lots of different places, there's also the alt text on your images. So this is actually a planner pad that I used to sell many years ago. So on Etsy and on your website, say if you have a website on Shopify, you can add alt text to all of your images. Alt text basically means Google can understand what that image is, so that if you're searching on Google or another search engine, then it can show up where you see on the top, it says all like images, videos. So your image might show up in that search as well. So on Etsy, you can just click into the image, edit it, and click add the alt text. So here, this is a to-do list weekly planner. You can add alt texts for every photo. So again, all of the tags, the 13 tags that you've added onto Etsy, you can then add all 13 different tags on, or I think it's 10 photos you can add onto Etsy. So you can add 10 different alt texts as the tags. So just reusing what you've already done with your tags onto the photos as well. Just more likely to show up then in search engines too. But the best thing I can say with these obviously simple tips, there is a couple of websites. One's called eRank and one's called Etsy Check. I think there's one called Marmalade as well. But eRank and Etsy Check, definitely eRank, are really great. They're free to use. You can pay, but up to a certain point, they are free to use. So it's really great. I tell all of the businesses I work with to go check these out. You can then put in your keywords or your listings. You can actually check your listings and you can see how it's showing up in search, other keywords you could use, how your keywords are performing, your tags are performing. So it just gives you a lot of information to really make your product listing the best it can be as well. So I definitely recommend checking out eRank and Etsy Check for when you are listing onto Etsy. And then we've got product photography as well. So this is all about making photography super easy, just using your phone too. So whether it is Etsy or your own website, I would definitely recommend uploading at least 10 photos. You can add a video onto Etsy, and this really helps sales as well. So again, the video can be super, super simple. It could literally just be you scanning, say it's the book, scanning over the notebook and then opening it up to show, well, it's just, on your desk. So again, a video, we all know on like social media, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, video is just very engaging. It makes people want to watch. So videos on your product listings on Etsy, on your own website, do really help to sell. It just shows more details as well of the product, so people can get a good feel of the size, the shape, the color, just what your product is going to be about. And also having more photos, again, just shows different angles or views or details of your product too. So a few tips just to make your products look really good as well, because whether you've bought a product in and you spent time sourcing it and you found a great product and you know people are going to want to buy it, or you've handmade your product, you don't want to show it off with a bad photo. You want to, show off your product in literally the best light. So good light always works really well for photography. You don't need expensive lights. Just be near a window. Like I'm in front of a window here now. So, I've got the light on my face. If I was over in that back corner, for example, it's going to be dark. It's not going to photograph as well over where that bookcase is than over by this big window where the natural light is coming in. Turn off like your actual lights. They create a yellow tinge, yellow tone on your photos. So just using natural light is always good. So yeah, just having natural light from a window is all you need. Avoid zooming in on your product as well. So with the phone, just move your phone closer to the product. If you zoom in, it just makes the photo more grainy, so it won't be as clear. And just think about the kind of style of photo you want to take as well. So, and use that across all of your photos. So this can be very simple. I tell all of my clients when they're taking photos of their products themselves, go get some colored card, big pieces of card, whether that is a natural kind of uh, sand color, for example, or cream, or like a white color, or you want bright, bright pink or blue to photograph your products on. Or another top tip is to go to somewhere like B&Q and just get some samples of wallpaper that looks like wood. A lot of photography is not a nice desk or a shelf that you think it is. It's all sort of tricks that are just bits of card, bits of wallpaper, a nice chopping board, a bit of wood that you can just photograph things on as well. So yeah, so just think about different props that you've got in your home already that you can use. And portrait mode normally on smartphones creates a really nice depth of field. So kind of like here, you can sort of, this is obviously not quite the same, but you can see the product and then the background will be slightly blurred. That can be really nice as well. So play around with taking just regular photos and playing around with like the different things on your phone, like portrait mode, for example. Other things is just showing the product in use. So, like here, the rings on the models are definitely trickier to photograph, but give it a go. Or if not, use simple props like here, a nice clean colored background, a very simple ring dish, and then you're showing the jewelry on that trinket dish. Definitely show, the product in a setting where it's meant to be. I've often seen people with scarves being hung up in trees. That's not where a scarf goes. That's going to go around your neck. Or, if you want to photograph it not on a person, just show it on a piece of card, or like your flooring, for example, or hung up on a hook inside, not so much outside in a tree. But different photos you can include are like lifestyle images, which is this kind of top image here. So this is where you've got, say, this is the product, this facial oil, and then you've got simple props around to, enhance it. Again, a product image you might want to crop in more on the actual just bottle so that, that was the main focus. But once you've got different, say, photos of your product in a lifestyle setting like this, you can add close-up details. So you could then crop this down just to show the label, for example. It's an easy way to then up your 10 photos. Just cut down, crop in on photos you've already got. You can add photos on a white background as well. This is what they call cutout photos. That works quite well too. And then you can maybe add a photo of you making the product as well, if it is handmade. So again, particularly on places like Etsy, that is all about handmade products or vintage products. The process to make the product tells the story. It will be engaging, that the customer will be interested in seeing that process. Or you could show the packaging as well. So say this bottle comes in a nice box, for example, with some tissue paper. It's just showing the packaging and what people can expect for when that product arrives. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, any questions? Yeah, it was about 30 minutes, wasn't it? Maybe just under. But yeah, those are like my top tips for selling online.